Hey everyone, what I'm going to show you guys in this video is how to complete the GDP categorization activity. So I'm in the week 1 assignments folder, and this is where we'll list each week the discussion board, the quiz, which is not displayed quite yet, and then the third type of assignment, which in this case is this GDP activity. So the first thing that you would do is click any attachment. So open this attachment. What you guys will notice that a lot of these files are in Microsoft Word. So I encourage every student to download the full Microsoft Office suite, which I believe we all get free as students. And the way that you do that, so here I'm in my webmail, and I believe you guys will see these little kind of dots in the upper left or somewhere on your screen that says App Launcher. And if you do that, you'll see that there's this drop down that says Install Apps, and it will let you download for free the full suite of Microsoft Office products. So you'll be able to open Word documents, Excel files, PowerPoints, and all the stuff that will help you be successful. All right, so I definitely suggest checking that out. Let me go back to the assignment file itself, which once you have it opened, looks like this. You might get a warning at the top that says enable editing, so just go ahead and click that. All right, so what you're given in this assignment is I've given you some spending scenarios, and you're asked to categorize it as consumption, investment, government spending, or net exports, and then figure out what the overall effect on GDP would be. Now, to be successful on this, you'll already want to have studied what those things are, so what GDP is all about. Let's take a look at the first one. All right, so it says you take your date to dinner at Fang Bistro and you spend $175. That's a pretty nice date. So the first thing you would do is you would say, okay, which type of spending, consumption, investment, government spending, or net exports is that? Now, from your reading, you will know or will identify that that's a non-durable good, dinner, food. Right? So that is a type, by definition, of consumption, because consumption is spending on goods and services, okay, by the private sector. So what you would do is you would say, okay, I'm going to put plus $175 in the consumption category. I can leave the other ones blank because it's not investment, it's not government spending, it's not a net export. So therefore, overall, GDP has increased by $175. Okay, now if I look at what I'm asked to do, that's the first part of it, and then what it tells you is in a sentence to just explain your answer. So just right below, you could type something like dinner is a non-durable good, right? Purchased by a household, a consumer basically. So that's consumption, right? Consumption will rise by 175, and because there are no other changes, GDP will rise, or you could say increase, by 175. Okay? Now what you'll notice is I gave you 5 scenarios to think through, so it shouldn't be too complicated. Now here are some of the tricks. A couple of them may have more than one. Now in the case where there's more than one, you could have a plus in one category of spending and a corresponding negative in another. All right, that's kind of subtle. I want you guys to kind of learn from the reading when that would be. But for example, if I had a negative, it might offset the positive, and therefore my overall change might well be 0. Now the other trick is that a couple of these, there might not be any change in GDP at all, because the example I gave you may not be GDP type spending. Not every spending is GDP spending. The key take-home point is that only spending on goods and services is GDP spending. Okay, so some might have no change in GDP because it's not GDP spending, and you could just write that in your answer there. Now, whenever you guys are doing these, you want to use the materials that I make available to you. So let me go back to Blackboard for a second. So If you go to course content, and then this is in week 1, so I'm clicking on the week 1 content folder. In the PowerPoint here, I put some examples. So for the sake of this video time, I won't spend 5 minutes showing that. But if you go about halfway through this PowerPoint, you'll see a bunch of examples on how to categorize. So that will be helpful to you. And then this video here gives you additional examples. So between these two, you're going to have enough knowledge to be able to successfully do the assignment. Okay? So it's always a good idea to take all the curated materials that I've given you in the content folder and use them. Now when you're ready to submit, let me just show you how to do that in case you've never done that on Blackboard before. Everything is under an assignments folder within the week's overall folder. Okay, so what you do is you would click the link. And then in this case, because I gave you a Word document as a template that you're going to fill out, so you would save that to your local drive. And then if you click Browse, you'll be able then to go and find your file. Once you've completed it, click Open, and then you'll click Submit at the lower right there. All right, and just make sure that you are following the protocol for the Blackboard submission guidelines so that you can get credit for all your good work. I will see everyone in the next video.